So Nick, I'd like to get back to a comment that you made earlier about the solar systems that you've set up here at West 5. Can you just talk to us a little bit about some of the cons? I mean, we know that it all can't be pros, but if somebody's seriously looking at installing a system along similar lines, what would you say to them, and what would you want them to look out for and truly evaluate before they move forward?
Sure. Okay. We'll look at a few different facets here.
Okay.
One is going to be right sizing. You want to right size it to your building. That means having an understanding of the capacity of the system and the demand of your building.
Right.
So sure, if you can put additional generation onto the grid and defer some costs, that's great. We also need to make sure that your LDC is going to be able to accept that.
Right.
We are running into that challenge now where we're surpassing a threshold on the feeders, and after that we have to put in means with which that they can remotely, rapidly shut down our site in the event of any kind of issue.
Wow.
So the equipment to do this costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then you also need to have communication means in place, which likely aren't there, and that require line of sight. So if you have a highly variable topographic between the distribution center and your site, then they may have to install radio antennas or kilometers of fiber line so that they can have that instantaneous shutdown capability. So that's one. So if you right
See,
sizing,
this is stuff that I would never, the layperson would never think of. Like,
we didn't think about it until we were told. Yeah. So doing that.
Distance, topography.
A lot of things you got to consider.
Yeah. Okay.
Your electrical distribution. So there are some rules in the Ontario Electrical Safety Code that your main bus and your switchboard, so the main piece of equipment that connects your building to the grid, it has to be sized with sufficient capacity so that it can deal with the full demand of the building with the surplus of the generation. So that needs to be considered. It's a code requirement thing, but interpretations can be different.
Right.
The Electrical Safety Authority may interpret it differently too. The position of the breaker for your solar along that bus needs to be in a certain location. So there's a lot of coordination that needs to happen between your electrical consultant, the solar consultant, and if you can, getting ESA or your utility equivalent to review to make sure that everything is fine, because you might go for occupancy and they come to look and they go, no, we can't flip this breaker. You are not being energized.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is this an area where the government, the federal government or otherwise is providing grants at all? Because, when you're starting to talk about some of these costs, you're looking at significant, dinero. So it's not just about the system within your dwelling, but it's really that connectivity to the grid and all these other costs. And the consultants, right?
Yep.
That you would have to hire to ask the right questions to make sure everything is in place, even before a decision is made.
Yep.
So how does that factor in? Like, how did you guys address all of that?
So to answer your rebate incentive program, the only one I'm aware about is for retrofit.
Okay. Yeah.
Another interesting thing is I've looked at this for our downtown buildings, and I don't know if this is similar in other municipalities, but in London, the downtown grid is a mesh. And they actually cap the maximum amount of generation you could put on a building so you don't inadvertently mess up their grid. It's something like a kilowatt. It's nothing. It makes it basically not worth your time to do.
Okay.
Yeah. But in terms of what we've learned here, so we've relied heavily on our solar design professionals to understand how to size it properly, how to make sure that we're in conformance with the Ontario Electrical Safety Code, and making sure there's proper coordination between them and our electrical consultants.
Yeah.
So we've been doing that, and then also looking at things from a site geographical area. So if you were to look at the West 5 master plan as it previously was, going from the south to the north, everything gradually stepped up.
Right.
And the reason for that is so you don't inadvertently overshadow your other solar arrays.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Okay. What would you say you would not repeat? There's lessons learned that, you've carried on, but is there anything that you said, what? I wouldn't do this again, or this doesn't make sense anymore for us to do?
So right now we're kind of on the cusp of facade solar.
Okay.
We may or may not. We got to look at the metrics on that a bit more, and we're
Okay.
learning more about that too.
Okay.
But one I would say is early engagement and buy-in from your local distribution company.
Right.
So a large component of putting any kind of generation on a
Mhm.
site is something called a condition impact assessment.
Okay.
And so you submit documentation with your consultants to say, we want to basically acquire this capacity on your main
It's
feeders.
a CIA. Ooh.
Yeah, almost the exact same.
Same kind of feeling.
Yeah.
It's a CIA.
And so what can happen is if there isn't sufficient capacity on a certain feeder and you don't get your CIA application in beforehand, someone else could eat up that capacity. And you could have an asset in the field that can't be connected until maybe there's an upgrade.
Okay. So the speed to market, so to speak, is key here.
And a lot of open and frequent communication.
Right. So again, we come back to this stakeholder engagement and having a really good relationship with your
maybe it
local
was
folks.
fate that we met at a PMI thing.